Hello everyone, I told you I was going to do the video about every poster I have on my class. Well, first of all, I love that one. I create those two. Remember, math is just, in math, think I like Nike. Just do it. Math is like a sport. The more you practice, the better you get. And then we have measures of center. The mean is so mean. You need to add all and divide by the amount of numbers you have. Median is the one in the middle. On the box plot is the line in the middle. You order the list from least to greatest and find the number in the middle. The mode is the number that appear the most. I put those that emoji because he feels he's so fashion. Everyone likes that. Measures of spread. Range remember, range is distance, is the greatest number minus the least number. Inner quartile range is the third quartile minus the first quartile. And then you come over here, we have the words, the keywords. I already made a video about that. I already include the less than or greater than or equal, and without the equal sign. Over here we have fraction decimal to percent. See, so I'm going to go slowly over here. Fractions to decimal, divide. Decimal to percent, we move the decimal two places to the right. We have fraction to percent. We convert it into a fraction, then move the decimal two places to the right. And decimal to fraction, write it using place value, 75 hundredths, and then simplify. Then we have percent to decimal, just move the decimal two places to the left. Percent to fraction, write it out of 100, and then simplify. We have on exponents, that is expressions. Exponents, we have it over here. Exponent, the base, expanded form, and standard form. And then we have the properties. Remember, you can pause this so you can study this. And then we come up with keywords for you to remember the properties. Commutative is switching, associative is grouping. Distributive is the number outside times each of the inside of the parentheses. Identity is going to be the same number. If you add multiplies times 1, you add plus 0. Inverse, reciprocal, or opposite. We have solving one-step equations. You notice is the opposite. When you add, you subtract. When you subtract, you add. When you multiply, you divide. When you divide, you multiply to solve. And then we have the operations with integers over here. Integers. This is the rules of adding integers. Look at the sign. If you have different signs on the right side, if you have different signs, you subtract and keep the sign from the biggest absolute value. If you're adding the same sign on the left, you see on the left side over here, on the left, same sign you add and keep the sign. Then when we subtract, we use the strategy keep, change, flip. But because when you subtract a negative, you take away the depth, so you're adding a positive. And then you just follow the rules of adding integers. So different sign you subtracting, keep the sign from the biggest absolute value. When you multiply or divide integers, it's really easy. Just same sign, your answer is going to be positive. Different signs, your answer is going to be negative. We remember that by using the Dorito Man. Then on this one, we have 4 operations of decimals. Adding and subtracting. Organize the number by the decimal point and add zeros on the empty spaces. Multiply. Remember, you don't need to add more zeros. Just line up the second factor all the way to the right and continue multiplying. On division, move the decimal all the way to the right, slide it all the way to the right. Same amount of numbers you slide outside, you slide it inside. If you need extra numbers, just add zeros. And the get, remember, group each total. If you need to find the each, you need to divide. If you need to find the total, you multiply. If you need to find the group, you divide. And then we have our chart of the Venn diagram. Whole numbers, it's 0 and any whole number over there. Counting numbers and 0. Then we have the integers. We have negative numbers. And then rational numbers, you see decimals. Even if even if you have negative numbers, if they're decimals or in between the whole numbers, those are rational numbers, any number that can be written as a fraction. Then we have over here prime factorization. We have an example, find the 3, and then an expanded form, and then exponential form. When a number is to the first power, it's the same number. So 8 to the first power is 8. And a number to a 0 power, it's going to be 1. And then we have the prime numbers. Memorize the prime numbers. Some of you are really good on prime numbers. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61, 67, 71, 73, 79, 83, 89, 97. This is less than 100. You can study a little bit more if you already know those. This is the tip for simplifying fractions. When both are even, you can easily divide both by 2. If the top and end if the top and bottom end on 5 or 0, you can divide it by 5. If top and bottom end on 0, you can divide by 10. And if you start with your numerator, keep counting by the numerator, 7, 14, 21, 28. If you notice, the 28 is your denominator, then your denominator is even, you can divide it by the numerator, like this one. And then how do I know if my fraction is simplified? First one, if your numerator is already 1, you cannot go further. If your numerator is 1 less than your denominator, and if both numerator and denominator are prime numbers. Over here we have the strip diagrams, 100%, 50%, 25%, 10%, 33 and 1/3%. It's just the rectangle divided by 3, that is 33 and 1/3, or 33.3333 repeated in decimal 3. And 1% is divided in 100, just getting 1. This is really useful, and you're going to see it on the test. Then we have multiply fraction, just multiply across and simplify. Divide fractions is when we use keep, change, flip. Over here we have ratios. Ratio is a comparison in two quantities. The way you see it is the way you write it. Mixed number to improper fraction, just multiply and add. Multiply the denominator times the whole number and then add the numerator. Then we have the division cycle. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down next digit. And remember, do your T-chart. Proportional reasoning, we use this a lot. Is part of the whole number. Sometimes they tell you what is, 25 of 250. So you do the setup and find it. We use it to find the percent, to find the part, or to find the whole number. Writing ratios. Ratio is a comparison between two items by amount. To write the ratio, we must follow the order. If they're asking you ratio of cats to birds, you first write cats, and then after you write birds. If they're asking you ratio of birds to cats, then you write birds first and cats after. And sometimes they compare part to total, cats to total animals. So you need to find the total. Then over here we have ratio tables, and we use this a lot also on proportions. We use, we normally put words or units that we're talking about, what you know and what you want to know. We normally say to predict. Sometimes they ask you what will be the new outcome if you change the sum of the two amounts. You can use it by cross-multiplying. You can solve it by cross-multiply and divide, or find the relationship between the two numbers. Also, we have the place value over here. 100 tens, 1 decimal point, tens, hundreds, thousands. And over here on this pink one, we have the triangle theorems. The first one is the inequality theorem. So the two of the sides when you add them, needs to be greater than the third one. The three angles of any triangle measure 180 together. You add them, it's 180. And then the opposite side of the angle. The largest angle is opposite to the largest side, and the smallest angle is opposite to the smallest side. You have it over there. And then we have over here the volume. Remember what I told you. Capital B, scratch this out or cross it out and put length times width. Length times width. So length times width times height is the only rectangular prism that you're going to see, the only three-dimensional shape you're going to see. And then we have an area of the triangle. On this one, remember, the height is the straight line formed by the base and the highest peak of the triangle. And don't forget to divide by 2. Triangle and trapezoid, don't forget to divide by 2. Base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. When you multiply times 1 half is the same as dividing by 2. And over here we have the area of rectangle and parallelogram. Area equals base times height. And that's it, students. Just remember, we also have, and this is really important for me, for you to understand, everybody can be successful in math. Everybody can be successful in math. So remember, try to think that you can do it. So if you don't understand something, you remember, what am I missing? Go back and check. You need to use all the strategies I told you to use. It's for your own good. This you may take some time and effort, but you can do it. You can always improve if you keep on trying. And you're going to train your brain in math. Mistakes help you to improve. And you're going to figure out what the other persons are doing, the ones that are being successful, what are they doing, so you can do it too. Okay? Thank you. And I wish you to understand every question and to be able to label the question. When you read the question, I want you to remember the label. What are we talking about? Are we talking about ratios? Are we talking about rate? Are we talking about area? Are we talking about fraction, decimal, percent? In your mind, I wish you to, so you can label the question and be able to remember the strategy and apply. And remember, this is the one that I like the most. Please never give up. Try your best. Thank you. Subscribe.